Welcome back. All right. So as I continue to roll on through these season previews, we have reached the New Jersey Devils. So again, I'm doing these in the order that I did videos on teams entering the offseason. What's interesting is New Jersey, relatively early in the videos that I did, I was kind of concerned that there'd be big moves made relatively soon after I made that video, and there have not been. And I say that because Tom Fitzgerald, after the first round exit against Carolina, made it clear that this team was going to need to change. Things were going to be different. And yet this team remains largely the same going into this coming season. There are a couple of new names, sure, but in general, this team feels very, very similar to the one that finished out last season in a disappointing manner in the first round. So looking at their top six, I got creative again. So Timo Meier, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, all of them, absolutely top six. I've also included Grzelcyk. And Arseny Grzelcyk may be the player to watch this year. So I've got him as the one to watch. He's 25 years of age, and he will be given every opportunity to show what he can do potentially in a top six role out of the gate. And I say that because the chart that's being used by Puckpedia has Andre Palat as the top forward. And I'm not saying Palat can't be, but based on this past season and based on the words of Fitzgerald, I think Grzelcyk is going to be given every opportunity to show what he can do. And that would involve getting top 6 minutes. Hischier and Nason rounding out that top 6. Nason's an interesting one because if Dodonov was 5 years younger, I might put Dodonov in there instead of Nason, but it likely is going to be Nason. We'll see how he follows up on his first ever 20-goal season at the NHL level. Then at the bottom 6 side of things, that's where I put Palat. Also Dawson Mercer. Now Mercer, he's kind of due for a breakthrough season. If he's playing third line minutes, that may be more difficult to find. So we'll see how the lineup actually ends up shaking down. Connor Brown, good addition there. Then you've got Cotter, you've got Glass, who returned. He went from being rumored to be a player they weren't going to qualify. They were going to let him just go to unrestricted free agency, and then they signed him and kept him. So they not only qualified him, they kept him. And then you've got Dodonov. They're on likely the fourth line. So there are a couple of additions here. Grzelcyk's going to be an addition, Brown and Dodonov. But the DNA of this team really hasn't changed that much. And so this is a New Jersey Devils team that I think is going to rely greatly on the health of Jack Hughes. If Jack Hughes can stay healthy this season, then you're in good shape. Now, depth-wise, they've got Lammikko. We know Lammikko can play a fourth-line role if need be. McDermott, McLaughlin, Cruikshank is on the list as well. Laguerre, Hallinan, Hardman, Bordelot, who, of course, they picked up from San Jose. Schmelzer, Parent, Gruden, and LaChance. So there's some depth there when it comes to their forwards. There are some players who are in green and listed as depth forwards who might jump into a bottom 6 role. We shall see. Now, on the blue line side of things, one thing to keep in mind is Kovacevic is listed as IR at this point, so we'll see how long he's out and what his status is once we get through training camp and all that. But this is a good defense, and this is one thing that Tom Fitzgerald fixed this past year. So you've got Luke Hughes, you got Brett Pesce. I love Brett Pesce, right? Siegenthaler, Dougie Hamilton, Dillon, and Nemitz. Nemitz very likely to be on that third pairing while Kovacevic is out, but don't rule out Sean Casey. Sean Casey has looked good in call-ups he's had over the last couple of seasons, and I would love to see Casey get a regular shift. So that might be something to watch come preseason, as which defensemen are getting showcased more and which one is doing better between Nemitz and Casey in the event that they decide they don't want to have both in the lineup or that there's room for one or the other. But there's still Chalowski's here, so he's a veteran. Addison, who after a couple of good NHL seasons has found himself in the AHL. Vilen, Finnish player, so I'm guessing Vilen. White and Diot as well. So there's a little bit of depth there when it comes to the defense, especially once Kovacevic is back. So once Kovacevic is back in the lineup, defense is pretty good. In fact, they might end up having a bit of an extra there, and they might get some phone calls about an extra, especially if it's a younger defenseman. We'll see. Now, their goaltending remains the same because the goaltending was not an issue for New Jersey, which is good news if you're a Devils fan, because the goaltending is part of the reason they missed the playoffs in 2024. Markstrom was very good. He's going into the final year of his contract, so we'll see how that works out. You've got Jake Allen, who signed a very team-friendly contract in the offseason to stay as a New Jersey Devil. Dawes and Brennan are the depth in net for the New Jersey Devils, a team which still has a lot of cap space. So there's the possibility that before we get to the season, we see a move being made here. They have $6,131,667 in cap space. The channel thinks they're good. 19% of the vote was for first or second place in the division. 63% of the votes third or fourth. So that's a pretty strong indication that people see them as a third or fourth place team. 14% fifth or sixth, and 4% just don't like the Devils. They don't like the Devils, and they decided we're going to vote them down near the bottom. Or they're thinking that because the Devils have struggled to put together back-to-back really good seasons, that maybe they struggle to do so again this coming year. The MVP for me has to be Jack Hughes. If this team is going to make any kind of a breakthrough in the postseason, Jack Hughes has to be healthy. He has to be at that level. And then again, as I said, the one to watch for me is rookie Gritsuk, who at age 25 and having a lot of professional seasons under his belt, it should be a pretty more of an easy transition for him anyways than it would be for a lot of the younger players coming up. I'm not going to say seamless because it is a completely different culture, different continent. It's not necessarily that easy, but it should be easier than it is for some. So looking at their schedule, to start the season in October, 6 of 11 games are away from home. In November, 8 of 14 games are away from home. And then they got a couple of busy months here. December, they play 15 games. 8 of those are at home. January, 15 games again. 9 of them are away from home. So that's a very heavy road schedule going into the Four Nations. See, I knew I was going to say it at some point. The Olympic break. I'll just blame it on I'm not getting much sleep. And I'm not. February, 3 out of 5 games are at home. Then in March, 8 of 14 games are at home. And to round things out, in April, 5 out of 8 games are at home. So the good news is it's a little bit more of a home-heavy schedule coming out of the Olympic break. See, it didn't say Four Nations that time. Olympic break. And if they have a good record on the road before that, if they're able to overcome some long road trips, I believe there's a 7-game homestand in there as well. There are some epic homestands and road trips this year on the NHL schedule, and it'll be interesting to see how teams navigate that. Because obviously road trips are tough, but homestands can be as well. Really long homestand, teams can kind of get a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit happy at home and a little more relaxed. It's something that's been talked about before, and there was one time where somebody commented, they wanted me to prove that happens. And I'm thinking, but we've seen it. If you watch hockey long enough, you know that can happen. Team has an 8-game homestand, you worry about them getting a little rusty, that they're not, maybe they're not quite as motivated being at home all the time. Anyways, that being said, moving on from there, looking at their record since 2021-2022, they are 21st in the National Hockey League. Record of 159 wins, 140 regulation losses, and 29 losses in extra time. So New Jersey has been more down than up over the last few years. Their top scorers during that time period, Jesper Bratt, the leading scorer, not a surprise, 321 games, 106 goals, 211 assists, 317 points. And it feels like Bratt gets better every year. Jack Hughes is second, 251 games, 123 goals, 176 assists for 299 points. Hughes, when healthy, is one of the best forwards in the league. Nico Hischier, 297 games, 114 goals, 162 assists for 276 points. Dawson Mercer, 328 games, 83 goals, 84 assists for 167 points. And Hamilton is fifth, the last one I'll mention here. 228 games, 45 goals, 110 assists, 155 games. Now, for top prospects, honestly, for New Jersey at this point, other than players you see over here, Anton Sileyev is worthy of mention, was a top 10 draft pick last year. And Samu Salminen are the two that I look at and say, pretty good prospects for the New Jersey Devils at this point. But this team, like I said, I don't see a huge difference. And I'm kind of surprised. And looking at the amount of cap space they have left, I still would expect something from New Jersey, but you never know. Maybe Tom Fitzgerald, when he sat down and looked at the actual depth chart and looked at his contract situations, he decided, you know what, this team's all right. We don't need to have major issues repaired in the offseason. I'll figure this out. My mouth will start working, I promise. And so, yeah, there's that with the Devils. Now, their top 5 scorers this past season, Bratt leads the way there as well. 81 games, 21 goals, 67 assists for 88 points. Very good passer. Jack Hughes, 62 games, 27 goals, 43 assists, 70 points. So he missed 20 games, and he missed the playoffs. And it was a huge difference between the New Jersey Devils with Jack Hughes or without. Then you have Hischier, 75 games, 35 goals, 34 assists, 69 points. Nico Hischier's offensive production, pretty impressive there. Timo Meier, 80 games, 26 goals, 27 assists, 53 points. And Luke Hughes rounds out the top 5, 71 games, 7 goals, 37 assists for 44 points. The goaltenders this past season, as I previously mentioned, better this year. Markstrom went 26, 16, and 6 with a 900 save percentage. His advanced stats were good as well, but Allen had himself an incredible year. Goes 13, 16, and 1. So what's interesting is Jake Allen was the better of the 2 goaltenders, but record-wise, Markstrom was the better goaltender. So that tells me, without even looking it up, the better goal support went to Jacob Markstrom. But Allen 13, 16, and 1 with a 908 save percentage. And like I said, the analytics tell you that Allen had a great year. And then you've got Nico Daws, who went 3-1 with a 939 save percentage. At some point, Nico Daws is not going to be waivers exempt. I don't know if that's this year or not. It's something I probably should have looked up before this video, but I'm going to say I don't think he needs to be put on waivers to start the season, but he can't be that far off. He's got NHL and professional experience at a level where he's getting close, and then that might be a question mark. Very similar to what the Canucks put up with Shelovs and having to trade him because they didn't want to lose him on waivers. I think if Nico Daws was on waivers tomorrow, I think he'd get picked up. I do. I think Daws is a good goaltender. I know. It's me. Anyways, looking at the last 5 seasons when it comes to playoffs. Back in 2021 and 2022, they did not qualify. That was also the case in 2024. However, in 23 and 25, they made the playoffs. Both years they lose to the Carolina Hurricanes. So, one trick for the Devils this year, don't play Carolina. Just don't. 2023, they lost in the second round against Carolina in 5. That's after they beat the New York Rangers in the first round. And this past spring, they lost in the first round against Carolina. Once again, it took 5 games. And Carolina clearly was better than them in almost every level that series. New Jersey's going to have to find a way to level themselves up and get to that level with Carolina, or it could be another early exit for them. Now, looking at the power play numbers, they were 3rd in the NHL at 28.2%. They were 2nd on the penalty kill at 82.7%. So, from a special teams perspective, New Jersey was excellent. 5-on-5, right? So when you see a team that's great when it comes to both power play and penalty kill, 5-on-5 usually isn't quite at that level, but it just means they had elite numbers on special teams. Their goals for, they were actually 20th in the league at 2.93 goals per game. Goals against, however, they were 5th in the league at 2.68 goals against per game. Sheldon Keefe, I thought, had a good season as their head coach that first year. And looking at year 2, I don't see any reason why Sheldon Keefe can't get them to another level. And maybe New Jersey pushes their way towards a first spot. So maybe that's 63% of the channel that voted them 3rd or 4th. Maybe they're a little bit off on that. Maybe we're going to see a season from New Jersey. Like, for me personally, I look at the New Jersey Devils and I think there's no reason they can't be top 2. Yes, Carolina's going to be good. Washington's still going to be very competitive after a great season Washington had. But looking at all these players, as long as Jack Hughes can stay healthy, and I know I've said that at least 463 times in this video, but if he can, they have a shot, right? Because as soon as he's out of the lineup, it pushes Hischier up to first line, which is fine, but now you're pushing Mercer up, you're pushing Glass up, and so you're ending up with a center spot that's nowhere near as impressive as Bratt, Hischier, and Mercer. If that's their top 3 centers, that's excellent. That's really, really good for an NHL team that went through a nice long rebuild before we got to this era. So I still think they're going to be a playoff team. I think that New Jersey is on the doorstep of being a pretty good, reliable playoff team as well. Confidence may be part of the issue, and with young players, you got to learn how to win. And in some cases, you have to be healthy and learn how to win. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding the New Jersey Devils. And anyone who's curious, tomorrow's teams will be Chicago and Montreal. So we have an original 6-day tomorrow for the season previews. But once again, New Jersey Devils. And I'll go ahead and I'll pull a player off the board for this too, because you can see this is the green, and you might be able to see it's the green and red New Jersey Devils kit that's being worn there, as the set that I initially had before I added all the newer teams to it is from the 80s. So that's why they all have the 80s designs on them. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.